Does it matter if the timing is deceptive, if the information is true? Welcome to Pull the Pin Already, a place where average veterans come to talk about the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like them,
but we promise we're going to enjoy giving them to you.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike. Let's pull the pin.
All right, Mike, what are we going to throw on the table today?
I want to talk about these emails that I'm getting.
Stop subscribing to those channels and you won't get them anymore.
Oh, is it that easy?
Yeah.
Should I delete them?
No, don't delete them. Save them for evidence.
Evidence. Okay.
Evidence. You're always going to need some evidence later.
Oh, man.
And let's be real. If you know anything about computers, just deleting things doesn't make them go away.
That's right. That's right.
As we are finding out in politics today.
Yeah. That's where I was going with that, too. So what do you think about this whole another email scandal going on?
Well, I think you alluded to in another conversation we had is this is politics as usual. And I do believe this was brought up back years ago, wasn't it?
It depends on how many years you're talking about.
Well, even I think the email in question was from 2017. Now, that doesn't mean that's when it was discovered. That's when it was written.
Right.
So I don't know what... I don't know what prompted all of the politics in this. Yeah. But from the story, I understand, obviously, if nobody's figured out yet, we're talking about Hunter Biden's laptop that supposedly surfaced somehow now, and all these damaging emails for Joe Biden are in there. And I think this is similar to the Wiener laptop thing. Yeah. Is that the Hillary one, the Wiener one? So either these Republicans have a warehouse full of laptops, or what we're seeing is typical government corruption that's finally surfacing to the top of the cesspool.
Right before an election.
We can question the timing all we want.
Oh, always, yeah.
We can't not value or devalue. We can't devalue the actual information.
Right.
So if you want to, we could definitely talk about both perspectives, because I do think that is the shady stuff in politics, period.
Well, there's one thing I always say: just because it conveniently comes out just before an election doesn't make it not true. Right.
And then what I heard before is somebody used the term October surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time I've heard that, but now I get it. This is the October surprise, the big, So, and like you said, so does it matter? I mean, even if the political nonsense back and forth of the timing of it, does it matter if the timing is deceptive, if the information is true?
Right. To me, no, it doesn't.
Right. And I think a lot of times we want to hear, the whataboutism, and I've even played the game before, and I understand that when you're setting a standard and you're trying to uphold some moral ground, and you want to play this game like, well, look what Donald Trump is doing. Look, the reason I like to throw that stuff back is if you are really standing on your high horse and saying, this is my standard, then whataboutism actually applies.
Yeah.
And in the same case is we've seen tons of stories about Donald Trump, even 2-year investigation that came up with nothing. And yet the moment something comes out about Joe Biden, everyone, media, politicians, oh, no, that's Russian disinformation. That's not true. It's a smear campaign. Like, they don't even want to entertain it.
Right.
So if you're willing to entertain the idea that Donald Trump peed on some prostitute or whatever the story was, I don't know, then why would this be far-fetched?
Before he was president.
Right, sure.
Right.
But the point being is even if you want to take it to that standard, that level, why is this outside your reach?
Right. I agree.
At least investigate it to disprove it instead of just claiming it like it's true.
Yeah, you're showing your bias.
Exactly. And that's what I think. I know when we talked about this originally, that's what I think is happening here. I'm not as concerned about the laptop and all the stuff Biden's, because I'm not stupid and you aren't either.
Yeah.
We all know this is what's happening in politics all the time.
Yep.
And it runs on both sides of the aisle. It runs on people trying to get to the aisle. It runs all through politics, even to the lower levels. Yep. No one here is surprised. But what I think is shocking about all this is it's actually causing the bubbles to surface in the cesspool. It's exposing the people who are willing to support this crap. Like, I don't support, you accuse me all the time about being a Trump lover or whatever you want to call me, but I don't support Trump for his attitude. I don't support him for his demeanor. I don't support him for his ethics. This right here is the full reason, or the number one reason, and his policies. He's done some good things, but this is the number one reason I do support him. Even if I have to tolerate him for 8 years, if we can get the cesspool of politics to at least be exposed on a level where people can stop denying it, I'm all for that. And then we'll reboot.
Yeah, but I think this, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think this, for me, it's like you just, the media is just showing their hand.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah, because go ahead.
It's about time. That's what I'm saying. It's about time they're forced to show their hand. Where before they would use their manipulative techniques, which they're still doing.
Yeah.
It'd be almost like a lullaby where they're trying to convince you of things and lull you to sleep. Now they actually have to come out and stand their ground on what they're saying. And that's what I like about what Donald Trump is doing. Maybe not even intentionally.
Yeah, but what do you think? What do you say? That's what you like? He is doing. Excuse me. What do you mean by that?
Well, let's give a parallel. We spoke about in one of our shows, like, about racism. Mm-hmm. You know, would you like to know your neighbor's a racist, or would you rather him secretly hate you in behind closed door while throwing his dog poop in your yard or whatever?
Right.
You want to know it. And I think what Donald Trump has done, this Trump derangement syndrome, has forced this anger and this bitter, this hate to surface, that they're even saying stupid things, that it's become obvious who is where. And I think that's important, because that's really half the battle, because otherwise you can sit there and make judgments about your neighbor. Well, I think he's this, I think he's that.
Right.
But you know he is. Now you just have to watch the behavior.
So there's not really anything that he is doing, because to me, he's just sitting back like, okay.
Who is he we're talking about?
The president.
Oh yeah, I don't even think I don't think this is some 4D chess move that he's done. I think the fact that he got elected, and a lot of people that are in the swamp, that are business as usual, politicians getting rich off of us, are scared because he doesn't need our money. He doesn't have to get rich off us. He's got some other ego-driven issues. We can talk about that some other time. But he can even be the worst corrupt businessman in the world. He was already making money. These politicians come into politics and they become millionaires off of our money.
And they're doing nothing for their constituents.
Exactly.
Except for the lobbyists and, certain
the people
certain
that are going to bring them more money. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. So when it comes, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I would say that's why when we look at this scenario, I'm not as concerned about, was it true? I mean, we could break down the legitimacy and the steps and the things that cause question, but I don't care if it's true or not, because the exposure that's forcing these cockroaches out of their closets, out of the dark, is amazing to me. But what's still scary is you still have drones and NPC people that are refusing to acknowledge this.
That's the problem I have. That's the problem. To me, if this were something against the president, right, there would be so many articles. It would just be so much out there, right? But now that it's your team, that's, that threw the interception, if you will, and you have to justify it. And I'm like, nah, man, you can't have it both ways. So it's just another classic example of the media being biased one way or the other. It doesn't matter, right? And they're not doing their due diligence in investigating and reporting. Right.
And I think what we just tagged on is the bigger concern to me is below the media. We all know the media picks a team and they're corrupt and they do. We all know that they have the ability and power. But I mean, there's people that take to the streets over Donald Trump's a racist. And there's really literally no proof he's a racist. So they believe this stuff. I mean, you can
Right.
imply it through whatever actions or behaviors or words, but there's real no concrete proof. I mean,
Right.
especially like Dontavius, when we had on another show, was talking about, the track history. I think Trump has a track history of working with black people, and so I don't see the race, but the people are so quick to jump to the streets and call him this and protest and do all these things.
Well, yeah, because now when you talk about proof, you're talking about proof in the literal definition of the word.
Right.
And I forgot who it was. I was watching the show, and he said, and I agree with 100%, that the word racist or racism in America is racism in America is totally different. The definition of that is totally different than the actual word.
Sure, but
I agree.
Let's pull racism. Let's talk climate change.
Right.
I mean, you can insert whatever you want there.
Yeah.
My point being is, no matter where you go, you got to get the information from somewhere. And if the source of the information is corrupt or biased, then you, the average person, have to choose who you believe.
Yeah, but I think the average person, like, they do choose a source for information. Like, if my source for information is CNN, right? If that's my source, then I'm not going to see them as being Democrat supporters mainly.
Sure.
Left-wing supporters mainly, right? So I think it's the responsibility of everyone. It's like those people who, just because your source is CNN, that doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to Fox.
Exactly.
And vice versa. Because we said this in another show before, when you're afraid to have the other side speak, then it must, to me, you're afraid to hear a different point of view or another form of someone's truth.
Right.
And why would you be afraid of that? There must be some validity to it.
Right. Well, I mean, there could be some fear that you don't want to know the truth. And I think we talked about when I like to go back to the house, and we talked about their kids.
Yeah.
If you have a Republican and a Democratic child, and they both come to you and they give you two different stories, now you're forced to acknowledge both stories.
Right.
So now you have to seek the truth, because the proper justice needs to be the truth.
Right.
The punishment or whatever is irrelevant at that point. But seeking justice, which to me is the truth.
Right.
If you're seeking justice, then you do need to investigate even the things that you think the other people are saying and you don't believe.
Right.
Disprove them. I mean, we talked about that in another show. You have to, when you set out to disprove something and it's not true, then it's disproved. But when you discover that you can't disprove it, 9 times out of 10, you end up walking away from whatever it is that you believe in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So make that your goal. Stop being blind and, just go out and see it. So the laptop itself, right off the bat, it's not real. It didn't happen. But yet this apparently came out years ago, or at least a year ago. I think what happened is Hunter, in his infinite wisdom, he doesn't cross me as a smart guy anyway, based on his...
go ahead. I'm not going to ask. Go ahead. Just continue.
Well, I mean, addictions aside, takes his laptop to get it fixed or whatever. I mean, I don't know. That could be questionable. If you're making millions of bucks, why don't you just buy another one?
Right.
I don't know. So I can always question that. But the fact is that they have a receipt for him signing the laptop over, and they have apparently proof that Hunter's lawyer called to get the laptop back.
Right.
So that there is acknowledging that the laptop is his. So hindsight, like I was saying, we get to see this now, but I don't know why he would have needed to turn that in.
Right.
So the laptop's real. Then you go to the data. What were they saying about the data on the laptop?
What data?
All the information they're pulling off of Hunter's laptop.
Oh, how old it is?
Well, not just it's old. I think it was who's it, Schiff or one of those morons up there. Sorry, I hate calling people names, but there's no other better way to wear it. They said it was a part of a Russian disinformation campaign.
Oh, you talking about that? I thought you were talking about what they were saying about the... Okay, I got you.
I'm saying the data as a whole, not specific data yet.
Right.
I'm just saying the information on the laptop, before they even see what's on there, before they even know what's on there, they already knew that some Russian created this laptop, dressed up as Joe or Hunter Biden, went to the shop, signed Hunter Biden's name, had him put it in, forgot to pick up the laptop, hoping that the shopkeeper would look in it and see what's there.
Yeah.
So that's the Russian, you know. And
well, I believe it.
You do?
Oh yeah.
I see you're working on your sarcasm.
I'm trying, man.
For the listeners out there who don't have the privilege of audio, his face doesn't change. But anyways, so we can believe that the data has not been planted. Right. Now, one of the first questions I had, because I've been in this field, I've worked on computers before, is, and don't get me wrong, I don't bring my data to any store because I know these little kids are perverts and they want to look in there and find all your naked pictures and stuff like that. So it doesn't surprise me that a shop owner would be looking through your data.
Right.
But the question would be, is that his job?
Right.
So if Hunter never picked up his laptop and there was an agreement that the laptop now belongs to the store.
Yeah. After a certain amount of time. Yeah.
Sure. He can look through the data if he so chooses.
Because most of the time, if you drop off your equipment, you have to pick it up. You have to pay.
Right.
And if you paid, that means you were going to pick it up. So you can say that it wasn't paid for. Right.
And they don't offer storage. So therefore you're taking up position. So that's why you forfeit your property altogether. It's a good tactic for the store, I'm sure. But I'm still talking about what the store owner is looking on the laptop for, even if he took ownership of it.
You see, yeah. So, I mean, but if he takes ownership of it, he should look through the laptop.
Sure. Yeah. I guess curiosity is not a crime. There's probably not a crime there. I don't think.
No, I mean, because most likely to recoup your money for services rendered, you want to try to resell it, and you're not going to resell it with stuff on there that's not appropriate.
But you can wipe the stuff without looking at it.
Why would you do that? It might be something of value on there.
Well, that's my point. What value is on somebody else's laptop? Proprietary, classified, confidential information. Like I wouldn't want any part of that if I knew better. I would be searching for porn or something like that.
Well, maybe he was, and he just came across.
Yeah. I'm joking. I don't search for porn anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't want to bring up this spot anyway. But so anyway, yeah. So, that aside, apparently the shopkeeper even brought the laptop to the FBI after he made several copies of the drive, which is smart. But he brought it to the FBI, and the FBI had sat on it.
Yeah, but why do you think they did that? Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say I agree that they sat on it. They could have been doing an investigation.
You mean like on Trump?
Yeah.
So they were busy with Trump. They didn't have time for a Biden.
No. I mean, they could have been. Come on, man. You know this. In investigation, it might look like you're doing nothing, but you're actually investigating.
Well, you're right. And I do know this because I actually went to class and I know a guy who does computer forensics. And I do know that it's a simple program that just does a simple search. And some of the stuff that they're talking about could have been found in like 5 minutes, not 5 months.
But still, FBI's defense here.
So you're trying to give FBI a pass. If you want to say they deprioritized it and put it on the side, we'll get to it after the Trump investigations are all done.
No, I'm not saying that. It's just they could have been still doing an investigation, talking to people. I don't know, man. I'm trying here.
You can't because you have to start with the data. There's no other place to start. You start with the physical evidence you got. You're not going to go interview somebody without knowing what's on the laptop. It's just not. Well, hey, what are we going to find when we actually get to it?
They probably didn't want to go on the laptop,
because
I don't know.
Not part of the investigation.
I'm hurting here, man.
Yeah, you're not getting them out of this one. So we can agree up to this point. Everything seems legit.
Yeah.
So then you have to contest. Well, then you have to contest the actual legitimacy of the data.
Yeah.
I mean, like even the shopkeeper could have put his own pictures on there, could have created emails. See, so the chain of custody would be a question here.
Yep.
So the shopkeeper would have been
okay.
But now you have
with your knowledge.
What's that?
With your knowledge on computers. So if I take your laptop and then I put some of my own pictures on there, couldn't you tell the date that those pictures were put on there?
There is definitely traces. Hashtag, all that stuff. It's way more computer talk than I even remember actually. But there's definitely data on there that can track things. But like people often get confused. You see it in the media. If you were to put that picture on my laptop, that could change some of the metadata. it could actually show that it was created the day you put it on my laptop. So the metadata is not 100% this is when it was put on, done, and whatnot, but it does have clues in it. But there are other things that tie it, and there's other hidden places that a common person doesn't know about.
Right.
So where they can trace data, like even thumbnails, like even if you're trying right now to get rid of all your porn so your wife can't see it, I mean, there's probably a folder in your Microsoft folder somewhere that has little thumbnails of all the pictures you just deleted still there. So
this is one episode I hope she never watches.
If you do, give me a call.
Yeah.
But you get it. So the information, the most you can do is say the entire data is made up and it's not real. But even that has just been confirmed by people in the chain of emails. And one of those people we read, what was his name? Lewandowskis or whatever, lieutenant, who just released a statement basically confirming that everything in the email is true. Yeah. And he supplied more information. Now we have to question the validity of that statement and this person. So this is almost like an education course too, to even for some of these journalists out there. We don't have to pick a side here to do an investigation. Right. And that's kind of what we're doing right now, even though we're not really following through with all the investigation. So do you think that this Lewandowskis guy, based on his message alone, is telling the truth?
Yes. And then someone would ask me, well, why do you believe him? I have no reason not to.
Okay. But your job as a media or your job as a FBI agent isn't just to believe somebody, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I can even say your job as a public citizen isn't just to believe somebody. Now you can have that starting opinion, and I endorse yours and completely agree with you. I read the same thing and I believed this guy has no reason to lie. The information in it, the way it was constructed, looked definitely like he was protecting his own assets and CYA himself. But I didn't think it was unbelievable what he was writing.
Right. And I think that's why it's easier for me to lean towards the he's telling the truth side, because even if it comes out that it's just totally true, with or without his testimony, witness statement, or whatever, to me, I will not be surprised whether it was Pelosi, whether it's Biden, whether it's Trump, because that's where I stand. Because that corruption I'm so past the sensationalism of corruption in American politics that I'm like, okay, yeah. Right. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Jim is telling that the statement that Jim wrote is the truth, because that's what happens in American politics.
Right. So I think to summarize basically what we've just covered is I think this is all true. I think the timing is definitely political. Giuliani, I guess, sat on now they're trying to bring in the children thing. And I think, saying that he has an obligation to bring it to the police. Well, if that's true, I think you'd be a little smarter to realize that you better go in there and say you just looked at the data, because if you sat on this for months and you knew, and you're just now bringing it out because it's convenient, you're going to find yourself in a bind, which wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, there you go.
Wouldn't surprise me if he is.
And then next thing you know, something's going to come out about him.
And then it already has, I think. They've already tried to smear him.
Yeah, just to discredit him.
But that's what they do anyway. They're trying to discredit everybody along the way. So once they find out what FBI investigators are investigating it, they're going to bring out their dirty laundry. You know it's true when they try this hard. You know it's true.
Yep.
So I guess the bottom line to me is getting to the crux of all this. If I can reach anybody out there, all two of you that are watching, if I can get anything to any of you, I mean, we can't accept business as usual, no matter what team we're on, period. I mean, if I can find a replacement for Donald Trump that's going to be morally standing and morally sound, and yes, of course. But in the interim, I am not comfortable with business as usual in the typical swamp, because they're taking our money and they're getting rich, and nobody likes those odds.
Right.
I heard it somewhere, and I don't know if you could agree with that. I heard it somewhere that even human nature, they did a study on animals too, but humans are the same way, is if you give like one animal a bunch of food and then you give another animal more food, that other animal will get a little mad because there's no, equality there.
Yeah.
So they will react to that scenario, and people are no different. I don't want a politician getting rich on my taxpayer dollars when he's doing absolutely nothing. I don't even think he's got. I don't even know what talents these people have. They're not even good liars.
Well, that's the talent. They are good liars.
I don't think they're good liars. I think we're just so
you get elected
oblivious. Well, that could be money. That could be. I mean, look at AOC. I mean, there's a whole story behind how she got elected. They found a district that didn't have many voters, and they went out and pushed people to go vote for her, not even knowing her. I mean, so there could be corruption beyond that. So there really, I don't think most.
Yeah, that's not really corruption, though.
Yeah, it's playing the system.
Yeah,
you're fair. I won't call it corruption. It's a loophole, but it's not the intended person. It's not the intent of the law. It's not the way it was designed. Right. You're playing the system at our expense. But
always.
So what do you think comes of this?
I think this, along with a couple other things that happened in the recent weeks, is gonna it's not gonna be a nail in the coffin, so to speak. But I don't think it's gonna have that much of an impact on Biden supporters.
Really? You think they're that?
Oh, yeah.
You think that convinced it's not real, or you think they don't care?
Well, I think it's a combination. It's the not real crowd. It's gonna be, hey, that's old news crowd, or it's gonna be those people, I don't care. I still want Trump out of the office.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how we've come there. Like, I mean, I just don't know. I guess we got to push hard for a third party, but who's to guarantee a third party is not going to be the same thing?
That's true.
Yeah.
So true. And a lot of people go with that. I'd rather deal with one of the devils I know.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Trump. He shows his hand a lot, even though he's smart behind the scenes. You know, all that stuff you don't like about him. He's like that all the time.
Yeah. He's consistent, right?
Yeah. He's not saying, Hunter never talked to me about any work stuff. And then all of a sudden an email comes out and says, oh, yeah, Hunter talked to you about work stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. But basically, this is obviously being recorded before the debates. I'm sure this will come up in the debates. We'll talk about it again then, I assume.
You think so?
I do. I think Trump's going to force it up there because it's not intended to be.
Okay. You don't think it's going to be a question?
Oh, it won't be a question. Of course not. They're Democratic debate moderators.
Yeah.
They're going to avoid this like the plague, but Trump's going to find a way to get it in there. I'm sure he will.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm sure
Who do you think they should get as a moderator?
Who?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a fan like Joe Rogan. I mean, I think Joe Rogan was a great idea. You know, even if I don't like some of the things he says or believes in, I think he was more left-leaning. So he's more left-leaning, but he also speaks his mind.
Yeah.
So he's not going to let somebody slide just because, you know, his beliefs are left-leaning. His attitude is more central.
Yeah.
So, and I like that. Agree. I call that integrity. You know, whether he's got a shady past, I don't know or not, but, you know.
It shouldn't matter.
No, I admire integrity. In the moment, integrity is good, but, you know, that's what I think.
I can't think of anyone else I would want up there.
Yeah, you can't think of it. Not even one other person.
I mean, I'm leaving myself out of it.
Right. Good thought.
Yeah.
Good thought.
Yeah. Because they would. I would have to have control of the mics and everything, and then no.
Yeah. No, you can't do that.
Because I would ask a question, and you know how the politicians are. They'll say something. Well, I want to address this right here. I'll be like, okay, let me know when you're done. Okay, now answer the question.
Exactly.
You know, just answer the question.
Right. Well, wait. In all fairness, if you want to know my stance, you got to elect me first.
That's true. Yeah. It's just that you have to pass a bill if you want to know what's in it.
Exactly. You know? and that is to me, and you said it before, you beg of me all the time about not we're bringing up Nancy Pelosi and stuff, but that stuck in my mind so strong that makes me think that these people are either completely ignorant or just blatantly evil. Maybe evil's not the right word, but whatever. The point being is, if I were to say that to you, Mike, I'm going to hire you, but you got to accept the job before I tell you how much I'm going to pay you.
And what you have to do.
And you would call me a complete moron and walk out of that interview in a second.
Yep.
But yet people, they take that from their politician.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Unbelievable, dude.
I can't believe it. But for me, I believe that's how it is. If you really look at go back, show age here. Old Eddie Murphy movie, Distinguished Gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a comedy on politics, so to speak, and that was discussed in there. It was a scene in there just for that. Guys go in there and they'll vote yay or nay on a bill, and I'm like, wow, I wonder if that's how it really happens. And then as I started getting into politics, I'm like, how can they vote yay or nay when they say they just got the bill yesterday and they voted today? So you must have stayed up all night and had some serious help. Yeah,
Well, you can definitely get help. You can definitely get people to
Yeah.
read it for you, translate it for you,
Yeah.
highlight it for you, but you have to trust them, obviously.
Yeah. But I don't even think they do that.
No, I don't think so either.
I think yay or nay is based on the party of the person submitting the bill.
Well, and also because it's usually some member in the party that wrote the bill or had someone write it for them. So they can just go,
Right.
hey, Mike, you're on my team. Did you wrote it? Yeah. Okay. So let's support it.
Exactly.
And then when people ask him about it, it's like, oh, well, no, we have to wait till we pass it. Then you'll know.
Yeah. That bill created so many jobs.
Right.
Yeah, but we had to shut down how many schools?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But hey, we're getting off on a different topic.
Yeah, we could beat that up. Let's go ahead and end this one here on that. And hopefully we'll see where this pans out in the next couple days. Hopefully it'll still be relevant by the time the show gets out.
Yeah.
It will.
It will be. Hopefully it'll be relevant when people go to the poll.
Yeah. I mean, even though a lot of early voting's already started, but we'll see. So let's move on to our favorite segment, Pull the Pin Already, where we talk about something that just disturbs us or irritates us or the like. And do you have one?
No, I didn't come prepared today. I don't have anything.
That's getting old, Mike.
Do you have something?
I do.
Oh, don't tell me.
Oh. No, this one's probably going to create some sort of anxiety in some people because they're not going to understand what I'm saying. I don't have a complete disdain for these things, okay? Right off the bat, I don't dislike these things. I dislike the abuse of these things. And as we all know as Americans and people in general, when we're given a freebie or an out, we tend to over-embellish and abuse those privileges. And what I'm talking about is these things called service dogs. Okay? I'm not going to tell you I don't see the value in them. I grew up with dogs. Duh. My parents got us a dog. Duh. They were part of the family. I get it. I understand what they do and actually even did some dog training. So I know the power of these dogs. My problem is just because you're depressed and you get a little chihuahua and you want to take it everywhere you go. No, that's not the intent. That's not the purpose that I have to sit next to you with your dog in the movie theater. That's not the purpose. The purpose of that stuff is when no one's around you, the dog supports you. If you can't find people to go to the mall with and you don't need to bring your damn dog everywhere, then you're in worse shape than I thought. You don't need a dog. You need a family. So that's my problem. I'm all for the purpose of the service dogs. And I know there's people that need them. And I know veterans even need them, PTSD stuff. And I believe them. And I don't think most veterans abuse them. You know who you are out there. Okay, I'm not going to pick on any red hair, purple hair people or people that are just growing up in the youth today of all depression all the time. The service dog's not for you. It's good nutrition, exercise, sunlight. Those things are for you. All right, sorry, I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. Your turn.
Yeah, both of our viewers might hate you on that one, man. But I really don't have anything today. I just wanted to say peace. And I wish everyone the best. But since Jim is going to force me to talk about something, I'll bring up something that's near and dear to my heart. VA. Specifically, VA disability. Specifically, VA disability ratings. It's kind of like what you said about the service dogs. It's there for a reason. I know some Vietnam vets who are still fighting health issues from Vietnam, and they are getting nothing from the VA. And I know some people who they went to Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and these guys are 100% unemployable, out there working, lifting, doing everything, and they're making a living, but it's a false rating, if you will. And I think one takes away from the others, like you mentioned, the service dogs. And it's nothing we can do about it. It's on the VA. They always say sooner or later they're going to catch them, weed them out, or whatever. But you guys are doing a disservice to your fellow brethren and sisterin who served, and be more honest about it, because my rating, I get it. If they don't give it to me, I don't complain. I just keep going back if I really feel like I deserve it. But some of you guys who get these ratings, and damn, they could bench press a house, but they're unemployable. And I just don't get it. I don't get it, man. So I like to pull the pin on that if I can.
I agree. And I think the people you're talking to are pretty much, people we can relate to. And I think they know who they are.
Yeah.
Even if you're, because we can't pass judgment just like everything else. Because sometimes people have those guys that can lift 180 pounds, whatever you said. Sometimes they just have random headaches or, nightmares. So we can't always see their disabilities, but we know it's out there.
Yeah, but
we know the people are abusing.
It's kind of like the people with the service dogs, right?
Right.
I'm telling you, those some of those people, so that's who you're referencing. And it's people like, I work on base with a lot of vets, and I'm like, what? And they sitting there and they're proud about it. Right. And I'm like, wow, I just feel like they took away from someone else. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, we will call it there, and we'll do away with all these people taking advantage of the systems.
Yeah.
All
especially
around.
Those service dogs, man. It's wrong.
The service dog veterans with maybe a VA compensated service dog.
Yeah, that'd be good.
How that would work. Anyways, that is all the time we have for this episode. We hope you like what we had to share. We hope to come back for the next episode. If not, it's probably Mike's fault. Until then, Godspeed.
And pull the pin.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin already.